Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dunk Dynasty Hoop Show. I'm Craig.
I'm Brad.
And today we're going to be starting our first in the series of season previews for each team. We're going to start off with the Eastern Conference team. We're going to start from bottom to top, how the teams finished in the standings last year. And that will bring us to the New York Knicks today. Let's just start off there with the key departures, key additions, and what we expect from the team this year.
In relation to the Knicks and their offseason departures, we have to probably go back to February when Kristaps Porzingis was traded to Dallas. At the time, Kristaps was the face of the franchise. He was the unicorn, but the relationship had soured, and they ended up trading him for a package including Dennis Smith Jr.
One of the things that I think really hurt in that deal as well is that kind of began full-blown tank mode, and they were trying to get Zion Williamson, and that also ended up not panning out because the new draft rules had them dropping down to fourth.
Yeah, that was too bad. They also lost DeAndre Jordan. They lost Mario Hezonja. They lost Noah Vonleh, who was actually surprisingly pretty good for them last season, and they lost their starting point guard Emmanuel Mudiay. A lot of those subtractions weren't necessarily needle movers. They didn't have a great team last year. You could make the argument that losing Kristaps was a pretty big deal, especially considering they were hoping they'd get the number one pick. They were hoping that they would get 2 max free agents, and that unfortunately didn't work out for them.
And then considering the players that they did sign to replace those players, I mean, you saw how many guards they just lost.
Yeah.
And then they went out and signed 4 power forwards with Julius Randle, Bobby Portis, Marcus Morris, and Taj Gibson. There's no way to sugarcoat it. We don't want to pile on them, but not a great team that they're putting together for this upcoming year. There is a little bit of a spark of hope. RJ Barrett was a great pick at number 3. Before the draft, he was projected to be number 1, right?
Yeah. Leading into the college season, he was expected to be the number 1 pick.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Zion wasn't the number 1 recruit, surprisingly. It's hard to believe now, but he wasn't. It was RJ. But I think the one thing that the Knicks showed this offseason that was different, something that they haven't done before, is they've showed a lot of discipline. Yeah, they signed a lot of power forwards. We can say, oh, look, they've got Taj Gibson, and they've got Marcus Morris, and they've got Julius Randle, and they've got Bobby Portis. Are they going to play 4 power forwards on the court at a time? But they didn't give any of them a deal longer than 2 years. Like, they showed a pretty great deal of restraint in how they dealt with this summer, and that's actually something they talked about. I think that the idea is they're trying to prepare themselves for 2021, and they know, I think it's finally become apparent to them that they have a culture problem. They have an image problem, that James Dolan kind of sullied their image around the league. I mean, this is the Knicks. They're a marquee franchise. The NBA is better when the Knicks are great. I mean, when we think about the 90s growing up and Patrick Ewing and John Starks, those were awesome teams that you either loved or you completely loved to root against. And I think that they can get back there. It's just a matter of rebuilding that culture, resetting, and then hopefully developing some of these young guys.
Yeah, going back to them being a great team and not everybody loving the Knicks, but like them having that culture. Up until mid-May or June, everybody thought that Kyrie and Kevin Durant were a lock to going to the Knicks. And then you come to find out afterwards, according to Kevin Durant, they were never even in the conversation.
I think something you're kind of going along with is, if any of you ever listen to Zach Lowe talks about how there's one great task or there's one great hurdle that a superstar has yet to conquer, so to speak, in the NBA, and it's making the Knicks great again. That's why he honestly thought that Kevin Durant was going to go there, because if you make the Knicks great again, you're going to be immortal. That's just how it is. Eventually, somebody will go there. It's just right now, in the present, it's going to be a little rough. It's going to be Kevin Knox, and it's going to be RJ Barrett, and hopefully they give Frank Ntilikina some run and seeing what they have in those guys. That's their best case scenario, is can RJ Barrett become a 25-point-a-game scorer?
So going along those lines, what do you think are their best case, worst case, most likely case scenarios in the upcoming season?
I don't think I want to pin like a wins-loss record on them for their best case scenario. I think their best case scenario is RJ Barrett looking great, looking like he is a foundational piece. Kevin Knox bouncing back from, fortunately, a pretty rough rookie season. I mean, the numbers looked okay, but advanced metrics were pretty rough. But he has a ton of talent. He's great. He can do a lot of different things on the court. So seeing if those two can put it together, and I think seeing if somebody like Frank Ntilikina or seeing if Julius Randle is a keeper, because he's still really young, seeing these guys gel and grow together and seeing what they have with that.
Best case for me doesn't have anything to do with their season, and like with you, wins or losses. Best case scenario for me is that they get a top 2, top 3 draft pick, because this team's not built to win right now. So the best thing that can happen for them is to get a player in this upcoming draft who can help them win down the future. And on the flip side, but worst case scenario is they fall out of that top spot like they did this last year in the draft, and where they lost out on Zion. That was backbreaking for New York fans. And yeah. I don't want to say I felt bad for them, but I can understand how that kind of thing would hurt when all through the season you're going through, what did they win? 16, 17 games?
Something like that. Maybe it's 20.
And Zion is by far and away looking like the best college player in the nation, and you're just eyeing him, and you have this feeling that he's going to come to your team, and to just have that taken away.
My worst case scenario for them is Marcus Morris and Taj Gibson playing 30 minutes a game. Like, if that happens, they're just going to be stuck in the mud. Fizdale, I like him as a coach. It's still, the jury's still out on whether he's a great coach or not. But if he's playing those guys 30 minutes a game, if Wayne Ellington's getting 30 minutes a game, that's a worst case scenario. Because not only are you guys not going to have a great record, but the young guys aren't going to develop either. The thing is, you not only want a great draft pick like you say, but you also want to make sure that what you have can develop. So if that means taking some lumps this season, so be it.
All right, Knicks fans, go ahead and let us know in the comments. What do you think your upcoming season is going to look like? What will be the ups? What will be the downs? Where are you guys going to end up? Go ahead and give us a subscribe, give us a like, hit that notification bell, and we'll let you know the next time we load a video.